No. Listen, Ahmad usually runs that part of it though, man. But listen, matter of fact, let me do something right quick just to make us all the way official, even though my boy Liz. Usually Ahmad runs the production side of the boards. We all manual analog today. Hold on one sec.
Uh-oh.
Okay. We all manual. We manual today, boy. Yes, sir. Ace Kennedy. We all manual today, though, boy. I say, you know what? I'm so used to my brother running this board here that me and Damien, we talking. And I realized we ain't even went live the whole time, though, boy.
Hey,
Yo, what's up, bro?
yo, I got them wings up for you and the fam, bro.
I can't wait.
I'm saying I'm
Listen,
sending good
I think
vibes your way, making sure you're good.
Man, I am. We making it work over here. So I'm just going with the flow as the wind blows, bro.
Got you, bro. I got you. Good
listen,
to see
Ace,
you
I'm
too.
gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm expecting to see you shoot another video while she's in the while you got your thing. I'm expecting for another. I'm expecting all of that. You already set the standard on what can
Well,
happen.
I'm just praying that it don't go that deep. So let's just leave it at that.
Hey, well, listen. Before we listen, when we thought that we were on and we wasn't actually live, right? Talking to D, and we were sitting here talking about like, listen, man, football season started. So going for the rest of the year, there should be at least a college or NFL game every single weekend for the rest of the year, right? And I laughed
Right?
because I didn't even catch the Steelers and Cowboys playing but I knew the Cowboys lost because I looked on my timeline and all I saw was a bunch of it's just the preseason game, right? It's just it don't count anyway. But the Cowboy fans that I know, right, would have said we going straight to the Super Bowl. I told y'all if they won though, bro.
They quarterback looked trash, bro. I mean, I ain't gonna say trash, but he definitely had some flaws. But yeah, I guess I don't know, man. I'm kind of in that camp of like, why does it take so long for teams to start gelling? Like you sit up here and you have practice and everything. So I'm just wondering why it takes so long for people to gel.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that these days in the NFL they don't allow the same kind of practices that they had before. So before you would be able to have all these off-season programs, you'd have all this other stuff going on, and I think that now the way that they've kind of bargained this to happen, I don't think that it's as easy. So I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that you look that now that there's less practices, right? And then there's probably going to be fewer preseason games and more regular season games. And that's probably the reason why you'll find that more and more teams, you'll find that they'll hit their stride probably like week 6, 7, 8 after they worked out the kinks and everything like that. And that wasn't the case some years ago though. What you expecting your Bears to do? Ace, if you hear me, if you looking like you don't hear me, but listen. All right, Damien, you say you're not expecting the Patriots to get to the playoffs, but you're expecting more wins. What I'm wondering for you is that do you think Mac Jones starts a game this year?
Yes. Yes. And let's be fair, right? when I say that they'll do better, that's not really a leap. It's not like they went like 9-7 or, I expect them to win 8 or 9 games this year. The local populace in New England is pretty much over Cam. It is not even about anything other than just football. It's not economics. It's not background. It's not religion. It's not who you hang with. People in general are ready to see Cam go.
What's up with
I knew
that?
it was bad when my dad said he wanted Cam to go.
Why is that? I'm gonna state the obvious, right? Is it because he's a black quarterback?
No, you missed me. I just said it's past the point
It's past
of it
that.
being him being. It's even black people are like, yo, he gotta go. You know what I mean? So it's gone past the color line, the religious line, the background line, the upbringing line. It's New Englanders are spoiled as a town, as a state. They're spoiled because they've had a lot of championships come through. Massachusetts and New England in general, they're just over it, man. So they want production, and I don't see Cam. I don't see him doing anything that he didn't do last year, even with receivers.
See, I thought that Cam. Well, I didn't think that they added like that many kind of top flight wide receivers, right?
No.
With that said, though, man, I don't. If it's not Cam doing this right with that core, like sure, Brady would have got you, let's say 10 wins. But if you were expecting a Super Bowl, you put Tom Brady on that same roster. I don't think that they're gonna look better, but they're not winning a Super Bowl with that roster though on the offense.
Let me say this. You want to know how you know that your assumption is about their winning record or lack thereof is correct? That's why Brady left. If they had pieces in place for him to actually build on and do something with, because remember, he's at the twilight, if you let people tell it, of his career. He doesn't have 3 years to build and gel with people. They've got to come and produce from day one. And if he had those components, he would have stayed in New England. They didn't have it, and he wasn't getting it.
And listen, I think that their drafting of N'Keal Harris last year was their acknowledgement, right, of that. If he was supposed to be their guy, but he didn't quite. Did he get traded? I thought that I heard that he asked to be traded, and I'm thinking like, yo, these dudes is bold that you can not produce and still ask to be traded early on in your career, though, bro. Like that's crazy to me.
Well, it's definitely strange, Charlie, but here's the thing. And I say this all the time. When people have been playing a sport, any particular sport, since they were young, and their entire lives, they're told that they're the best at whatever skill set, position, whatever it is, you get into a system where nothing is going your way and you're unable to produce or prove, why would you want to stay there? You're dealing with one of the most stubborn head coaches. He's good, but he's very stubborn. It's hard for the man to say, you know what? I mean, look at how long he's riding with Cam. He's still riding with Cam.
I think he's riding with Cam as a buffer, right? I think that he's riding with Cam as to just not throw Mac Jones out there. And I think the reason why he's doing that is because I think that he feels like, to be quite honest, Cam isn't the long-term answer. Mac Jones is. So let me not throw Mac Jones out there with no weapons, right? I'll throw Cam out there just for the time being. And then after that, then it's cool. I just don't think that. I think that would be my thought process on why why Cam's still the guy. Like I think Cam probably is a better pro quarterback right now, but potentially, I think that he sees Mac Jones as that guy. But without weapons, it's the same thing that you would have had with Tom Brady with no weapons, though.
But prior to Mac, he stuck with him the entire season. Yeah. And the thing about him sticking with Cam the entire season is that Cam got progressively worse. He didn't get better. He actually started the season better than he finished the season. So put the other kid, what's the kid's name? I can't, what's his name? What's the kid's name that was supposed to be the next coming to Brady?
My God. Stidham.
Yeah, Stidham, yeah. I mean, at the end of the season, when you know you're not going to make the playoffs, if Cam is slowing down, rest him. Put Stidham in and let the dude take some reps. It just, to me, there's no way for you to develop if you're not on the field. And you have to think that in light of a lot of players who have gambled and bet on themselves and won, it does make sense to say, look, if you're not going to play me, send me somewhere. It's easy to say, oh, he's the best, he's the biggest bust in Patriots history. Like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? If you can't play, how do you prove that you're not a bust?
I think that I don't know, man. Like I think that what does that say though about Stidham though, right? That Stidham was there before Cam, and Cam still they stuck with him throughout. It told me that Stidham wasn't ready like that.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But when is he going to get ready? When will he get ready?
Ace, what are you expecting from your Bears this year, bro?
Man, with this being Nagy's year that he has to do something, he gonna have to make a decision, bro. It's gonna be one of those things like what happened in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield. They gonna want Justin on the field, bro. I mean, right. Shoot, I already got my Justin T-shirt. I got my Bears hat. Like, it's crazy because we haven't had a quarterback like this in a minute. And nothing against Andy Dalton, because I would take Andy Dalton all day over Nick Foles, and I'd take him over Trubisky. So, but at the same time, he's going to have to do what he has to do to make sure he keeps his job. So I can see Justin being on the field as soon as Dalton starts messing up. The problem is, because that was part of the promise when they brought Dalton over there, that he would be the starter, he's going to get the start. But I'm going to tell you, man, if this kid looks good in preseason games, and if Dalton get to messing up, he coming out.
Whoo. How many games are you going to give him before he comes in the game?
I think you're going to give him at least 4 games, because at that point,
4?
The thing is yeah, I think 4. I'm just saying realistically, because of the fact that was the promise that you brought him in. You're going to give him 4 regular season games to see what he can do. If after that, then yeah, it's going to change, because like I said, Nagy's job is on the line at this point, because he had last year with that whole fiasco with this defense, and the way the offense can produce if they have somebody that can get the ball to where it needs to be, then no, you have no excuse, and they are not going to put up with that, man. And like I said, his job is on the line now.
I think Andy Dalton's going to get 7 games, bro. And they're going to look at his record and say, is he better? Is he 4-3 or is he 3-4? If he's 3-4, then Justin Fields coming in. If he's 4-3, then he's going to keep playing.
No. I'm talking. The reason why I say 4 games, I'm saying if he loses the first 4 games, then you might as well. You gotta put a spark into the team at that point.
I agree. If he loses that many, if he's done in a row, right? But yeah. I think that if Andy Dalton plays in 7 games, right? I think if Andy Dalton in 7 games, if he has somewhere around, let's say, 10 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, I think they're gonna keep him. Because I think that what happens is when you don't do that, then you end up looking like how the Dolphins pulled Fitzgerald, whatever the boy is, where they were winning, had a winning record with them, but said, all right, you know what, let's go ahead and put him in. We had it planned all the way, and then they wound up not making the playoffs. It almost felt like you lost the momentum, you lost the potential. And so I can see that even though Justin Fields might be better, I think that Andy Dalton would have a longer leash given if they have a winning record and if he has at least 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, though.
No. If that's the caliber, he'll get 8 games. I won't even say that. I'm saying if he's going into the games and he's 0-4, he getting pulled. But at the same time, if after 8 games, if he's like doing well, that's different, because they still want to develop Justin. They not trying to throw him to the wolves. We're not in a rebuild. You know what I'm saying? If Dalton can come and get it done, hey, he get it done. But the thing is that they're gonna want Justin if he get to acting up. My thing is that though the difference with Andy Dalton and Fitzpatrick is Fitzpatrick knew his days was numbered from the first moment he took a snap. And so that's the thing. They told him, like, yo, you got to develop young man. You know what I'm saying? And Dalton, before they even drafted Justin, they told him, like, yeah, you coming in as a starter, which is why everybody was flipping out when Carson Wentz got hurt with the Colts, because they were saying, okay, now Nick Foles' name is coming up for a trade, which, you know, they got Sam Ellinger as the backup over there as the Colts as well.
They got Ellinger and they got Jacob Eason as their quarterback. Jacob Eason, like in high school just a few years ago, he was like the #1 rated quarterback. Jacob Eason's better than what people think, but I agree. They got the boy Sam, and I'm going to always root for him just because of the UT connect, though, man. So I don't know. I think what's interesting on my account for these Saints, I have no idea what we're going to look like, bro. I can very easily, bro, see us being one of two things. I think that we could be so much better than everybody else thinks, or so much worse, because I think that our defense is top 5. I think the defense is ready to go, and I do think that we have a Super Bowl caliber defense. I think the problem is that I just don't think that offensively that we have enough stability, or I don't know what Jameis Winston is now, right, under this team, and I don't know for a full season what my boy Taysom Hill is either. So with that said, I knew that Taysom Hill won some games without Drew Brees, but I think that it's interesting that they did hurry up and pull him and didn't give Drew the some more games and everything like that. So I think that if Jameis Winston can throw 25 touchdowns, and let's say that if he throws 10 interceptions, I think that we could be in the playoffs. It's just hard for me to see a Taysom Hill-led team and a Jameis Winston-led team beating the Bucs in the playoffs with Tom Brady there. It's like I can't. If the Bucs had any other quarterback, I probably would think that we could win the division. But the fact that it's Tom Brady, he'd been there and done that, I think that he's just better than our quarterbacks, and that's the reason why I'm a little hesitant. But I think that we could be a dark horse to still make the playoffs, though.
I got a question for you. Are you Deshaun Watson? Would you take him right now for the Saints?
Yes. If we had Deshaun Watson, I would say that we go into the Super Bowl. If he wasn't going to miss any games, if he wasn't going to miss any games, right? And you said we're going to put – well, okay, it's late in the season now. But had we had Deshaun Watson in the offseason, he gets traded, and NFL said we're not going to suspend him any games. But if for some reason, if we start to find some criminal charges against all these allegations, whatever their processes is going to be, if they said we're going to wait and see, you put Deshaun Watson on this team, then I would say, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl, bro.
And Damian, I didn't get the chance to hear it. Are you excited to have Cam back, or what's your thoughts on that?
No,
not
at all.
Okay,
not at all.
I figured y'all already talked about it.
Yeah, well, I'm not. Let me say this: I'm not disappointed that Cam is getting an opportunity. I'm just not excited about the potential of the opportunity, because the one thing, and I don't know how New England fans view it or how they take it, the Patriots aren't even the best team in that division anymore.
Well, it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, D, because hey, Josh Allen just got the bag, right? $40 million a year bag, right? My thing is this, though, is last year a sign of things to come, to where for the foreseeable future, right, that the Patriots aren't second best, maybe a race to be second best, because the Bills look.
I don't think they're the second best team. I don't think they're the second best team in the division. Look, there are a lot of components that go into making guys gel and have some cohesion, right? One of the things is believing in the person that's taking the snaps. It's the easiest way to get somebody to buy in is for you to be good at what you do. Cam doesn't have the buy-in of his teammates. I don't care how much they say in the press about how they support him. They're supposed to say that. But if you are used to winning and the organization is on a serious steep downslide, I mean, they're not getting a little worse. They've fallen off. Let's call it what it is. So when the guy is at the helm is the reason, the root cause of you falling off. Let's stop for a minute. I say this all the time. I get a little annoyed with people saying, "Oh, they ain't got nobody to throw to." They ain't have nobody to throw to other than Troy Brown for the majority of the Tom Brady's career until he got Moss. So you got lemons. You got to make lemonade whatever way you can make it. And a lot of the players, man, they did what they needed to do, even without separation. I'm going to say this, and people are going to take it in any way they take it. Julian Edelman is a good quarterback, a good receiver, because he is able to find a seam and exploit the seam. But anybody talking about Julian Edelman is Hall of Fame and top 5, knock it off, man. Come on.
Listen. There are people who say that. Not that I agree with it. The people who say that he's the second all-time leader, or maybe first in playoff yards all time. Like that has to mean something though, right? Not to say, because seriously, the knock on it is that he's never made a playoff, right? He's never made a Pro Bowl, but in the playoff, when it's go time, he's like top 2 all time.
But look, if you
that has to mean something. Like he did that, though. I gotta give him that.
Yes, I'm not taking it from him, but I'm saying if your team goes to the playoffs every year because they're in a weaker division, and the Patriots were in a weaker division. Nobody was worried about the Jets a few years ago, the Bills a few years. Nobody was worried about them dudes. If they beat the Patriots, the Dolphins, if they beat the Patriots in the regular season, that was their Super Bowl. Nobody was worried about those teams, bro. So let's be honest. You think Julian Edelman is a better wide receiver than Lynn Swann? Because Lynn Swann has numbers that he shouldn't even be in the Hall of Fame. No. Look at Lynn Swann's numbers.
I don't think he is.
Okay, but Lynn Swann's numbers.
Go ahead. I'm gonna look this up while you're saying it. Go ahead. I'm gonna look him up.
Look it up, because Lynn Swann does not have Hall of Fame numbers. Lynn Swann was the beneficiary of Terry Bradshaw, John Stallworth, Blyer, Franco Harris, and the Steel Curtain. They went to the Super Bowl 4 times, and he showed out all 4 times. But if you look at his all-time stats, they don't stack up to the Rices and the Mosses and the Carters.
I don't know, man. Okay, listen. I'm looking here, man. Let me just state his case though, because you mentioned Lynn Swann. He is a 4-time champion, right? He is first team All-Pro. He was second team All-Pro, 3 Pro Bowls, and the NFL Man of the Year, and in the 1970s All-Decade team. That's something.
You're missing me. Listen to what I said. The caveat to what I'm saying to you is you can put a pig in a prom dress. It's still a pig. All those stats are great. But I'm talking about, look at his all-time stats. Google the top 10 receiving stats for the top 10 receivers, and Swann is not in the top 10. I don't think he's in the top 15.
He doesn't have a lot of everything. Now, don't get me wrong. He doesn't have a lot of catches. He has 336, which is far behind Terrell Owens, right? He doesn't have very many wide receiving yards, 5,400, and he doesn't have a lot of touchdowns. But I think that the reason why people give him the nod is because back then, passing wasn't as emphasized like that. So for passing to not be as emphasized, I think that they felt like during that era, he put his stamp on that era when passing. He did that when passing wasn't emphasized. That's the only reason why I think that they would give him the nod.
Rebuttal. What do you know? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when something I can't even think of the kid's name? The kid from New York. He's with the Browns now. Beckham.
Odell Beckham.
What's the first thing you think of when you hear Odell Beckham's name?
Okay, so most people would think the catch.
That's it. They think of the catch. The exact same reason why Lynn Swann is remembered is because of those incredible athletic, acrobatic catches that he made. That's why Lynn Swann was a poster boy for a receiver, because he went up and he got it.
I see your point. What I have to add to that, though, is the difference with him and Odell is that he did it in wins. Odell did it in the loss.
Right.
I see what you mean. I do think that Lynn Swann, if you just told me, if you read me somebody's numbers and you didn't give me the name, and you told me this is when they play, I would say, without knowing his name and without even watching any film, I would say that, yes, he said he is Hall of Fame. But if you told me Julian Edelman and you didn't tell me that this is who he was, I would not think that Julian Edelman is a Hall of Famer.
And that's the contrast. The contrast is the Steelers went downfield with Swann. With Edelman, for the most part, he's going across the middle. He's catching short passes, and then it's yards after the catch. I'm not taking away from his effectiveness, how great a receiver he is. But when people mention Julian Edelman in the top 10, I just laugh about it. So
I don't think that he's Edelman's gone. Listen. I don't know. I understand where they're trying to draw the push for it, but it's he's not though. But I mean, listen, still a great all-time player that I would want to have on my roster, because I know during that playoff time, it's go time. I'm gonna get something from him though.
Right. Absolutely.
Listen, question for y'all, man. So this is one thing that's interesting. We talking about people who was getting the bag. We talked about Josh Allen. So Steph Curry recently signed his deal. He signed the deal that James Harden basically turned down when he left when he left Houston, because what they were looking to put to James Harden said, hey, we would offer you this extension and that would make you a $50 million per year player. And this is in Texas where there is no state income taxes. So his $50 million a year is hit differently from Steph Curry's. But then also KD got this extension as well. You saw a lot of players, Jimmy Butler, signing this extension with the same teams as well. My question for y'all is this. They say that Kawhi is coming back, right? I understand that you might think, hey, you know what, it's just a good effort just to do your due diligence. Let me see what's going on. But Kawhi Leonard hasn't re-signed. Is there something to be said that Kawhi Leonard hasn't signed this big extension right away?
I don't think he wants to be tied down. I think he probably wants a 2-year deal, where these other cats is doing these 4-year deals again for stability. And I don't know if Kawhi likes to have the power in his hands to be able to, like, all right, I don't like this situation. I can negotiate bigger moves. Maybe I can get some more people here because they want to try to keep me, or whatever the case may be. I mean, and then of course you heard the report come out toward the end of the year that he's not all in on their medical staff either.
I did see that. I saw that he was dissatisfied with the Clippers organization's medical, the doctors, in his diagnosing of basically, I think that they were trying to tell him that, almost like when he tore his ACL, that they were almost like telling him that it wasn't that bad, implying that he could have played in it, right? Gotcha. But at the same time, Kawhi had something to say about the Spurs, right? And that I'm not saying that that's his go-to, but Kawhi Leonard isn't going to play at any game unless he's 1,000%, right? He has to be more.
But at the same time, in this particular instance, though, he had the surgery, so obviously it was worse. I mean, I think in his eyes, he probably compares it to the way KD, right, when he was in Golden State, when the doctors or whoever told him he could go out there and then his Achilles popped. Right. So I'm thinking that he felt like, and the San Antonio thing, of course, that's going to be controversial because the San Antonio's doctor said this, and he got a second and third opinion. But in this, the doctors or whoever told him he could play, and now he had to have surgery, and he's out for a year. So I think this is a little bit different.
Here's my thing. I guess my thing is this. I'm all for players being able to take control of their own destiny, right? At the same time, though, right? This is, as you know, this also goes to the Charles Venus rule of basketball, reading in between the lines, right? If you're Kawhi, if you're a player during free agency, right, and you're saying, hey, I'm gonna pick a team, and some players are saying, listen, I'm at a point where I'm chasing a bag. I got to get me a big contract. But also there are guys who are saying, I am trying to go for the best situation. I'm trying to go for a ring. And here it is, you know that Kawhi is on the team. You may say, hey, you know what? This is the difference of me signing a 2-year deal where it's really a 1-year guarantee with a player's option for the second, because you don't know what Kawhi is going to do. So you may go to the Clippers and you might go there expecting to say, hey, I'm trying to go here to play with Kawhi, right? Meanwhile, Kawhi, Mr. Short Distance, short-term relationships are like, hey, man, you don't never know what you're going to get. So I'm just thinking like, bro, that I don't know if Kawhi is the player that you would trust to hang your year to year, like the Lakers, right? Like this is the thing I think, like the Lakers signed all of these players and a couple of young players, older players as well, to 1-year deals because that was all contingent on them saying, listen, we're in all-in win mode, right? LeBron's contract is like maybe 2 more years with the Lakers or whatever, right? So players are going to play with LeBron because they know he's going to be there, right? They're not going to go, half those players ain't going to go to the Lakers if LeBron isn't guaranteed to be there. So my thing is that, like, I understand that Kawhi is doing Kawhi, but at the same time, wouldn't it, if he's all about trying to win a ring, like, wouldn't that send a bigger message to potential free agents that I'm going to be here, so it's cool to go ahead and come here and sign here?
I personally don't think so because go ahead, D. Go ahead, D.
Nah, I see his point. I see what he's saying, but you and I, we're on the outside. Them dudes know Kawhi. They know what they're dealing with, man. You know, there's certain people in his circle that know what moves he's gonna make. And if he flakes out on you, or he says he's going to do something and there's some adverse effect to it, who would be surprised? Would you be surprised about it? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but if I was going to play with him, I'd just try to do it for a year. I wouldn't try to keep going 2-3 year deals with him.
Well, the other thing too is that there's no need to try to base it off of Kawhi anyway. Kawhi got 2 rings already.
You got to base it off of Kawhi.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking about if I'm another player, I'm doing like D said. I'm only going to do for a 1 or 2 year deal. I'm not trying to do no 4-year deal, not worried about Kawhi. I'm saying, like he said, they know Kawhi. Plus, Kawhi already has 2 rings. So for him, you know, he's going to be looking for the best situation possible for him to get a ring. He ring hopping at this time.
So what you're saying is Kawhi's LeBron.
I think that here's the thing. I think that okay. I'm not gonna say Kawhi is LeBron, but ain't nobody going to the Clippers. I know what you're saying, but what I am saying is ain't nobody going to the Clippers to just play with Paul George, bro. Like I don't want to be the Paul George. I told him I'm not gonna jump on Paul George ever again. But ain't nobody going to the Clippers just to play with Paul George. And I think that that's something to be said, though, that the people who have re-signed Reggie Jackson came back, right? There are guys who may come back, but for someone who's outside of that situation, somebody who's not already on the roster, you're going to be hard-pressed to get somebody to sign a 1-year deal with the Clippers knowing that Kawhi isn't going to play this year, so they're not going to sign that 1-year deal with them if Kawhi is going to be there. But then also, if Kawhi's delaying on signing this 2-year, you may go into this thinking like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I'll go there this year, get familiar. I got a player's option. I'll opt in next year when Kawhi come back. And this whole time, Kawhi done rolled out and chucked everybody to the deuce and went to a whole nother team, though, bro. And that's what I'm saying, though, it sets as a team the other players at a disadvantage of saying, well, I'm basing if I'm going to go to the Clippers. Because, if you're not going for a ring, right, you can sign with the Hornets for that. So it's like,
right.
All right, well, what would be the advantage of going to the Clippers now, right? If you sign a 4-year deal, yeah, you get in the bag if they got the bag to offer. But if they got equal money to offer somebody else right now, then I don't see why anybody would go to the Clippers who isn't already on the Clippers if Kawhi isn't going to be there, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Mod, your thoughts, bro.
I think that the organization as a whole probably looks at Paul George a little bit differently based upon this year's playoff performance. And I'm not saying they're going to commit to another star, but I do think that they are going to try to win this year, even without Kawhi. So if they could have made some better moves I just don't know what moves, though, they actually could have done this offseason outside of bringing Westbrook there. But, obviously, now we know the reason why Westbrook didn't go there, because he tried to go there in the beginning, and it didn't happen.
Here's the thing. All right, this is the thing that I think, and I gotta be. I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna jump on Paul George, right? I told you we ain't. I won't say. But listen, Ace, what does it say about Paul George, though? I think I know your answer. I want to hear you say. What does it say about Paul George that Kawhi Leonard insisted and told the Clippers, if you want me, you got to basically get Paul George. The Clippers said, okay, what else? We going to go ahead and get Paul George. And the Clippers, listen, bro, the Clippers are scouting Landon right now because they don't have a draft pick until Landon becomes eligible for the NBA draft, all because of Paul George. So they're scouting Landon right now. I saw somebody at the park with a clipboard scouting Landon when we were shooting around, swear, and he had a Clipper shirt on. Ace Kennedy, my question to you is that what is it saying, though, to Paul George? What does it say about Paul George that Kawhi Leonard asked for him to be there and didn't sign this after they've made every attempt to satisfy everything that Kawhi wants, and then now you're stalling the re-sign after we just paid the dude who you wanted to be there?
I don't think it says anything about Paul George. I think it says a lot about Kawhi, because he's the one that can't make the commitment. He couldn't make a commitment in Toronto after winning the ring, and he didn't want to make the commitment with San Antonio. So it has nothing to do with Paul George. The thing is, they haven't won. Not Paul George didn't win. They haven't won.
What about his commitment to Paul George when he asked him to join him, right? And then they said, okay. Isn't
this like the fourth year, though?
Yeah, their third year together.
Okay, so again, that they played together. It didn't work out. That's not he fulfilled the commitment. Paul George got the bag. I'm saying, I don't think it says anything. Just as much as this being basketball, this is also a business. So the thing is that they have different interests to begin with anyway. And like I told you from day one, Paul George is where he wanted to be. Regardless of what you say, how he got there, he's there. So my thing is that even the side of that, Kawhi got hurt. The Clippers did well. They've crumbled in the last game. So, at the same time, so I can't necessarily fault Paul George for the rest of the team not showing up. That dude was exhausted.
I just think, to me, though, bro, I think the way that I look at it, though, man, is that it's just, to me, right, I think that Kawhi Leonard, if you're saying Kawhi Leonard is the centerpiece of our team, and he's the most influential guy, he's the guy that people want to come play with. I think that if I'm a player, I don't trust to play with Kawhi. I don't trust anything about what Kawhi has to say for beyond a year, because what I would have to know, you tell me the terms of Kawhi's contract. How long is Kawhi going to be here? And even then, that doesn't really matter because players can demand trades and all this stuff, though, man. I think that what's really sneaky about how Kawhi Leonard operates, though, bro, is that you never hear him say anything, right? It's these leaks. And so he can always deny, I never said that, I never this, that, and the other. All of these little things that you never hear directly. There's these leaks. And it's just interesting, though, man. I don't know. But I do think that it says something to me, though, man, that if you're Kawhi and you basically, demanded, right, that if for you to come there, they got to bring Paul George. Well, they got Paul George and they re-upped him, and now you don't want to. You're stalling to sign with the guy that you demanded that we sign. Like, stop playing, bro. Like, I don't know, bro.
See, but that's you and your continued animosity towards Paul George, because
Got to read between the lines, Ace.
There's no reading the lines, man. How am I reading between the lines when it came out, when the report came out that he was upset with the medical staff? Why would I want to risk playing at a place that caused me to have a surgery? That's not reading between the lines.
Charlie, you made an interesting comment, but I think it was way off base. You said that Kawhi Leonard was the most influential person on the team. I don't think that he's the most influential person in any situation, and I don't think he wants to be. I think his influence comes from his gameplay on the floor, but I don't got people sitting around hanging on what what Kawhi has to say off of the court. He just doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
He's the new Durant, bro.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. Something that's very contrary to what you said, because I believe the homie, shout out to the homeboy, Mark knows everybody, because where I disagree with you on that one, D, is because this is how influential Kawhi is. Because if Kawhi didn't come calling, I also believe that Paul George will still be in Oklahoma City to this day with the boy Brody. So that's what he called. He made the call to PG, and PG said, "Yeah, I'll come out there to be your Robin, bro." And I think that it is that influential.
But predicated on what, though? But predicated on what? Ahmad, you get what I'm saying?
I think that he made
if Kawhi, hold on. If Kawhi wasn't the player that he is, he could talk until his head fell off. Nobody's going to follow him anywhere. I don't think his influence comes from his mouth. I think it comes from his resume, is what I'm saying to you. And I think because he wins and because he plays at both ends of the floor and he's as skilled as he is, I think that's same way LeBron wanted to play with him. You know why LeBron wanted to play with Kawhi? Because he couldn't beat him. Because Kawhi was stopping him every time he came down and tried to put him in the post. He couldn't beat Kawhi. He wasn't better than Kawhi. So his only thing was, if I can't beat him, let me try to get this dude to join me. But I don't think that his influence comes from his words. I think people just respect the way that the caliber of the player that he is.
Yeah, Charles always tells that story.
I don't disagree with that whatsoever. I don't. Ace.
Charles always tells that story and leaves out the part about when the Thunder were trying to trade Russ and PG for Siakam. He always leaves that part out. So after you find out you're on the trade block, now I want to demand a trade. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. So he always want to leave that part out. So
because it's been public knowledge, and publicly said that Kawhi called and said, "Let's make this happen." I don't know. After
the trade was being talked about. That's the part you keep forgetting.
Listen, where we differ on this one is that anonymous sources said that.
Anonymous sources said what?
You got the right to face your accusers, bro. We don't go anonymous. You got the right to face your accusers.
That is my point.
You gonna say something?
Accusers have said that. Anonymous sources said that the Oklahoma City Thunder was reaching out to Toronto to see what would they trade Siakam for Russ and for PG. What we know for a fact is that Paul George got the call from Kawhi and said, "I'm gonna get you on out here." What I know for a fact, D, is that Paul George asked to be traded from the Pacers for a fact.
Charles,
to this
the Oklahoma City Thunder. When has any of their stuff ever leaked? I'll wait.
That was leaked. There was never a source cited for that.
That 100%. That's what I'm talking about. When has it ever been a source from the Thunder that has ever come out and talked about their trade stuff? When has it ever happened?
Right. So how do you know that it even actually happened then if you don't put a source to it?
Charles, I live here in Oklahoma City. And so the thing is that when I told you that Paul George couldn't lift his arms up before the game. You didn't want to believe that. And then after the season, they said that same thing because of the insiders that we have here. The thing is this, you trying to tell me that if it leaked that the Thunder was trying to trade Russ and PG, so then why did the report come out that Russ was upset with the Thunder then? What was he upset about?
I don't know. All I know is that
he
Russ,
was upset because he found out that he was about to get traded. That's why.
Listen, D, let me tell you, since we talking about this, because I said I wasn't going to talk about PG, where Ace gets his merit for this has nothing to do with Oklahoma City sources. He made a couple of calls in his pastime, right? He got Rex Grossman pulled from quarterback from the Bears, right? He didn't made the phone call, right? Had Pepsi bring back the clear Pepsi. Made a call, right?
Look at Ahmad's face.
Ahmad made a phone call and told Capri Sun, listen, y'all need to put these Capri Suns in a bottle. And they did it a month later. They put it in a bottle. Those things don't apply to this. That's all I'm saying, D. I want to give him credit because I don't want him to feel like I'm just slandering his secret sources or his big shot call ability to make them kind of calls and to know that kind of information. All I'm saying is that I'm going off of what I saw as facts when they say sources have been quoted, right? And that was the case. But either way, but I'm not bashing Paul George because, as I always say, Paul George has one of the top 5 all-around games in the league. And if I was a player, if I can build or construct my game after any player, it would probably be Paul George. So I'm not bashing Paul George. But what I am saying, though, bro, is that it has to mean something to me that Kawhi Leonard brought Paul George and demanded that they sign Paul George. And then now that they've re-signed him, he's kind of stalling to re-sign with Paul George. It, to me, looks like that's sort of an indictment on what he might think about how far he can really go with Paul George, bro.
So basically, your whole statement is conjecture and assumption. Gotcha.
Yes. I read. It's between the lines. It's not said.
It's
between the lines.
Damien, it ain't based on no facts. It's all his opinion.
I'm reading in between the lines, bro. In between the lines. Listen, real quick. So we talking. I don't want to get. I'm not gonna jump on. I'm not gonna listen. Paul George, D, is one of the most debatable things you'll ever hear us talk about, bruh. Paul George is our equivalent of Shannon and Skip debating Tom Brady or LeBron James, bro. We'll never agree on that one. But we both acknowledge the good in them, though, man. But listen, real quick, I wanted to see in terms of Ace. I know that you don't particularly watch. You kind of skip out on the hip hop versus battles, bro. You didn't skip out on like all of them, though, bro.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Locks versus Dipset?
Bruh, no. No. I don't like the Locks and I don't like Dipset.
Why don't
Never
you like
have.
the Locks?
I like Jadakiss.
Okay, you don't like the Locks and you don't like Dipset, but you like Jadakiss.
I like Jada as a solo artist. I don't like. Who do you like on Dipset? Cam?
I do like. Well, let me tell you. This is the crazy thing. I in particularly like Dipset separately more than I like them as a crew. Seems odd because a lot of people who I know like Dipset as a movement. Who I know, people who are hard Dipset fans. And me personally, like I like Joel Santana, right? And then I do like Jim Jones. I think Jim Jones is better than what people think. And oddly enough, I kind of like them more than Cameron, but I know that Cameron is clearly the guy within their crew. Like it was almost like watching the Locks and Jadakiss is clearly the front man, the leader of the Locks, right? But I know people who love Styles P. I don't know very many people who was rocking with Sheik Luch as hard, but it was always a Styles P or Jada Kiss thing. Mainly Jada, though.
You know why I like Styles? I'll say this. I do like Styles, P. I like Styles because Styles got better and perfected his craft the longer he was in the industry.
True.
Sheik Luch, not so much. And then I've never been a Jewels fan. The only song I know by Jim Jones is Ballin', and that's because it was. That might not even be the name of the song. What is it? What is it?
Ballin',
Ace.
Ballin'. Fly
It's
high.
Ballin'.
We fly high.
Yeah, and I've never been a Cameron fan ever.
Listen, so
I've just never been a fan.
I was a Cameron fan from 357, Horse and Carriage. Let Me Know. Like I was a big Cameron fan when he first came out. And oddly enough, when everybody else started to like him, like right around the time he signed with like Rock, not everybody else, but I'm saying like when he regained that momentum, like I like Cameron on the What Means the World to You, Cam. And then when he signed with Rockefeller, at the time I was a big Rockefeller fan. But for some reason, I just never connected with Cam on the Rock, except for Old Boy. I love the fact that he had a lot of the Just Blaze production of it. But when he was doing the Dipset thing, it wasn't my cup of tea for no reason. But I think that I've always been the Locks to me is always synonymous with Bad Boy, to me, that Bad Boy era. And so what was surprising to me about the battle is that I know that I would have thought that individually, right, that Dipset has more hit records in terms of singles, right? So D, I think that what you would love about watching this, especially if you are a Jada Kiss fan, it was almost like it was Jada Kiss and everybody else, bro. It was listen, by far, if I was rating the versus battles, I always had Beanie Man and my guy Bounty Killer high on there in terms of just being entertained. I think this one is the most entertaining versus that I think that's ever been out there, though, bro. By far the most entertaining one.
Yeah.
And what
I think is
interesting about it, though, is that they've seen. Oh my gosh! Then you have to watch and listen. If you have not watched it, an entertaining recap is if you watch Fat Joe recap the verses. His recap is spot on. It's one of the best listens if you just have some time. He recaps it. Excellent job, though, bro.
I'm gonna check it out.
Listen,
I'm gonna check it out.
It was almost like this. Okay, so let's just say hypothetically, if you and I are playing basketball, we playing pickup ball, right? And me and you, we boys, right? 16 years down, right? 10 toes down, 16 years, right? At some point, if we playing ball and you and I are going to be trying to win, doesn't matter that we like brothers, we still got to get this one. So you may talk something like, oh, go and shoot that broke jumper, blah, 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 blah. Then we're competitive, right? So this was that competitiveness, borderline disrespectful, where you would have thought, oh, they got to really know each other to let those things slide, though, bro. It was great. It was very easily Ace. If Ace, this is the one that I would tell you. If you didn't already, it's definitely worth. Listen, and Ace, I told you before, when I watch the verses, I'm checking for not just the songs, but I'm checking for all the extra stuff. I'm here for the extra stuff, right? So I'm looking in the comments. I'm looking at this and the other. Now, this is 3 people on the stage, 4 people on the stage on the other crew. So there's plenty of opportunity for little stuff. I've always known that people in the industry just said, listen, Styles P is no person that's going to go for the disrespect. People are usually very respectful for him. For what I've heard, you know what I'm saying? That's just that. So I didn't think that they were going to go there to where they were trying to be that disrespectful. But Jada, on the other hand, there was a point, bro, where they did an old Cameron song, and just to put this back, let me take a step back. How cool they are, because I saw 2 Chainz post of old video that he did that Jim Jones directed that is featuring Jadakiss. So they are cool, right? So they do a song with Cameron, and the first thing that Jadakiss was basically saying is that, yo, New York, this is the Mecca. These boys is out here lip singing. They got their words playing over the song. They're just lip syncing. Ace, I know you would appreciate that because you are one of the biggest people I know that points out when somebody who's performing live is rapping over their track. So Jada is clowning them on this. But more than that, the thing that I think was epic about it was that Jada actually gets up here and they're doing an early Cameron song, and Jim Jones doesn't know the words to that song. So Jada says, Jimmy, what's happening? You don't know the words to that one. That was before you was rapping. I fell out laughing, bro. It was hilarious. The low-level shots that Jada was doing, though, bro. But epic. But I forgot all of the songs that what Jada was like. He was like, yo, he said, these boys thought we didn't have shit songs. He says, dog, we got Grammys. We got Grammys. They only know what Grams is, though, bro. It was fire, though, bro. I'm talking about Jada looked like his prices had to have gone up. He get a new bag after that, though, bro. Prices for features, prices for shows, everything goes on up after that. But it was probably one of the best moments that I think that I had seen on Versus, and all of them, it was probably the best one, though, man. Tastefully done, though.
So you gonna watch it, Ace? What? You don't look impressed at all.
No, it's not that. I do plan to catch some highlights from it. So yeah, I do. I mean, I've heard so many people talk about it. The problem is I'm just not into their music. Like it, I know that they're incredible artists. I can respect anybody that does well at their craft, but it still doesn't necessarily mean it's for me.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I think that what I think that's dope about this one, right? Maybe because Jada had already had the experience of doing a versus, and that he's dope with Swiss beats. I think that theirs was playing so much better, because the last time we saw Kiss do this one, I thought that he was gonna lose to Fab, and I thought that Fab just got way too many popular songs. And I think that the part that was interesting to me about it is that when Jada went and did his, I mean, I thought that Jada was real saucy on that one. I mean, that boy was he was on that Ciroc hard body, and he was up there drunk as Cooter Brown, but he still won though, bro. And I think that the part that was interesting about it, man, was that he still won that one, despite the fact that I was just like, you know, I knew that Jada was dope, but I just forgot about these particular songs or these particular verses. I thought that the thing that was funny is that Cameron said, yo, he said, I'm not gonna lie, man. He said, y'all like the best side dishes ever. Y'all some good peas and mashed potatoes, though, man. With these, y'all good for features, though, man. But y'all ain't got them hits like that, though. And then as soon as he said that, they would come back with another one that the crowd was just going crazy about, though, man. But it was epic, though. It was, like I said, it was, especially with them doing a full crowd. It was. I can only imagine with the COVID restrictions lifted for the Red and Meth show, it would have been even more turned up if it had this same crowd out there. But they did this one in Madison Square, and everything was just right about. I mean, it was almost like if you were watching a smack battle, but you also had people performing their stuff. And if you had never heard any of their stuff, you would almost think that certain lines that they were saying were targeting right to that particular person. It was fire, though. It was dope, bro.
I'm
real dope.
I'm gonna watch
Yeah,
it
man.
tonight. I ain't got nothing
Yeah,
to do.
definitely. Well, I would say I would highly recommend it. And listen, shout out to Mark because he is right. Because at one point, that boy Cameron was sitting back on a lounge chair, and I guess him and Styles P kind of got into it because I guess Styles P thought that it was kind of disrespectful, and it looked like Cam kind of kicked him away from him or whatever. So there was a little scuffle there. There was some talking back and forth. It was everything about it. If you just if you think about a smack battle and you see URL how things can get a little chippy. To me, those are the best battles when they get a little chippy, right? Because of the competitiveness of it, though, man. And this was definitely that, though, man. The high grades, easily top 5, number 1 of 5 for versus, though, man.
I'll have to check it out.
Hey, Ace Kid, on the last one here, man, I want to run this about it. This was your account. I saw that before we talk about this, my girl Allison Felix, she done won. She's the most decorated female Olympic athlete of all time. She tied actually Carl Lewis with 10. I think that she actually has one more opportunity to even top that. So shout
athlete
out to
or
that.
sprinter?
I think she's at least American athlete. Now there's one girl who was a runner who got 12. She's from Finland who got 12 medals. That's the highest, but she has 10 right now, and that's tied for females the most ever. But Carl Lewis previously was by himself with 10.
Okay.
Yeah, been following. I was a big Allison Felix fan from the longest. It was weird to me to see a girl that skinny be that fast. So
right.
So yeah, always been a big Allison Felix fan. But Ace, Lionel Messi is not re-signing with Barcelona though, bro. Like I don't even watch soccer. I've never watched an entire soccer match, but the entire time I've ever watched soccer, I've always seen Messi with Barcelona. So Ace, is this like Jordan not playing for the Bulls the first time? Like what is the significance of Lionel Messi not playing for Barcelona?
It is monumental, and it is like Jordan not playing with the Bulls, but they couldn't pay him. I mean, he's not. It's not
what
like.
Did he want? What did he want, Ahmad? What was he asking for?
I don't know the number,
you know?
but I don't know the number. But they were saying they had exhausted all the provisions that they could, and they just didn't have it anymore. They didn't have it. They were saying, like, listen, Barcelona has been this club, this elite club for over 100 years. And that means it's over even if the best player in the world, we're over the best player in the world.
Right.
So the thing was that, and he already signed to another team. And so, they've been having issues for years though.
Did he resign to PSG? What is PSG? Is Paris? Isn't what you call it at PSG?
Yeah, there's a dude he reunited with, but they couldn't pay him, bro. They couldn't pay him. So, you ain't had that bread. He had to ride. Because I mean, you would think.
Explain something to me. How could they not pay him this year, but be able to pay him last year? Like I understand you got salary caps in the NBA, but I always watch in soccer. They have like these $100 million transfer fees for a player to go to another team. So how you just say, hey man, listen, we ain't got the money this time?
Well, see, I don't know the details. I didn't know if his contract was up and so they couldn't re-sign him. Like maybe his contract was up and hey, if you outperform your contract and you putting butts in seats or whatever, and I know COVID was there, but I'm just saying, like, if you're outperforming your contract and your contract is up, you got to pay him more. You can't just be like, all right, we're going to give you the same contract for the next XYZ amount of years. It don't work like that.
Right.
So
the boys, him and Ronaldo was out there making $50 million a year before Steph. Bro, they've been making this for like years over there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that Ronaldo makes about $85 million a year.
Yeah.
Ronaldo makes like $85 million a year with his endorsements and the I mean, but think about it. That goes to show you how much more impressive it was when Jordan was doing it Because at one point his salary was like 4.2 something million, and he was still bringing home like $90 million, dude. You got to really put that into perspective. His endorsements, his salary eats up the majority of his endorsement money. If he's making 50 million base, Jordan, I think at one point Jordan made like 6.25 and brought home $97 million, including his endorsements, dude.
I remember 1 year Jim McIlvain made more money than Jordan, and he was like, "That's it. Y'all gotta go ahead and break bread." But it's interesting though, man, because I never understood the context of it until I started watching like on Bleacher Report in Sports Center, and they're just talking about this, almost like giving a farewell, like he's retiring or something like that, though, man. But yeah, I guess he been getting that bag for so long that they was like, listen, we can't afford that kind of bag no more.
I mean, at this point, I mean, you know, if they, especially like if there was no direction, like they were gonna win it all, then why would you continue to pay that amount when you can develop new stars? And don't get me wrong, Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, those dudes are generational talents. But at the same token, at some point, it's like, bro, we gotta move on, because let's not fake like, you know, Messi ain't in his prime. He's still good, and his good is better than some people's great. But at the same time,
he's still top five.
I'm not saying the dude ain't good. I'm not. When I say he's not in his prime, I'm saying he has more down years than he does up years, is what I'm saying. It's the same like LeBron. LeBron is still a beast. Ain't nobody fixing to say LeBron can't play or LeBron done lost a step. Like that, you're not gonna say that, but he still has more years behind him in his prime than he does living in his prime. So with that being said, for that organization, if you're not gonna win it all, you might as well just move on. Like, the dude has done so much. You're probably gonna retire his jersey when it's over or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, when it comes to that money, like I mean, there's no right or wrong answer.
Hey, listen, I think that was interesting. We talk about money, right? And we're talking about this. I'm going to let y'all go on this one. I'll get y'all thoughts. I saw the announcement as well that Rihanna is officially a billionaire, right? I got so many thoughts about this, right? D, what is that? What is that? Okay, what is it? What does that mean? Because I know that Jay-Z has always been talking about billionaire hove, I'm in a race to make it. And you pointed out that now Rihanna's worth more money than Jay-Z and Beyonce put together. Still hasn't put out an album in at least 5 years, by the way. Right? She's doing other things and she's getting this bag, though, bro. I wanted to get your initial thoughts on this.
Rihanna is global. The same way Jay is, right? She's an icon, and I don't think that Jay-Z is any longer an icon. I don't think he's doing enough to stay relevant. I don't. I think that what Rihanna does, when you cross over into beauty, skincare, makeup, and fashion, I think it changes your base. It changes your earning potential, because the one thing that we all know is true: men will support athletes that they like and entertainers that they like, but there's only so much we're going to do. We might buy your album, we might buy your shoes, but with a woman entertainer, she's got eyelashes, makeup, skincare products, clothes, you know, she's selling lingerie. You knew what her longevity was when she I tell you what, after Rated R, I was sold on her. After her album Rated R dropped, I was sold on her. It was one of the best albums I had heard in years, right? But the more thing about Rihanna is she's two very important things. She's likable and she's honest. Whenever you see clips of her, funny, but she's dead on honest about whatever the topic is. And again, women are always, there are a lot of mitigating factors that go into Rihanna being successful. The Chris Brown incident still looms over her.
You stole my point.
Loyalty. Yeah, I'm sorry, brother. But There are a lot of things about her. She is an amalgamation of sympathy. She's a sympathetic character. She's strong. She's talented. She's sexy. Man, who else can throw 50 pounds on and be like, you don't like it, don't look at it. You know what I mean? And she flaunted it. She absolutely flaunted it.
Let me ask you this. Since you brought it up, let me ask you this. Do you like the skinnier Rihanna or the thicker Rihanna?
I like Rihanna. And I don't have a preference. I don't even look at women the same way anymore. I look at a woman based on what her value is to herself first. And clearly she values herself first. And the fact that she walks around with a strict confidence, she seems like a humane person, like she will help if she can help. And the fact that she still kicks it in her hometown and she's cool with her family and her friends like that, I just think it's an endearing quality, bro.
To answer to your question, Charles, this is my thing. First of all, we all know that music doesn't move money the same. Once streaming hit and they, added all these new ways to move the decibel, that's why she hasn't put out music. And to Damien's point, people love a comeback story. They especially love to see a victim survive and win, right? And the other thing is, you look at what one of the Jenner girls that did the cosmetic line, right? She made it to be a billionaire. Well, Rihanna has so many different facets, like he mentioned, with the lingerie, with the Fenty, like all of the stuff that she has. There was no reason why she wasn't gonna do that. So now, with her building this empire from beyond the music, when she does release music, it's gonna do nothing but traject her even further, because now people that know, there are some people that don't even know that she does music. They only know her from the fashion stuff.
Right.
So when she drops an album, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know she could sing too. And it's gonna be like, oh, you didn't know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I got a question. This is the man question here. Man question. Okay, so this is the thing. At some point, though, right? How does that look like when you that young, right? And you're a billionaire, right? You're this billionaire female. And maybe this is a question that we probably should pose to Brittany Rowe, who's also a Fenty ambassador, by the way. But but I'm wondering though, right? What does that do for your dating pool, right? Does that now make it to where, all right, I'm a billionaire. You've been self-sufficient for quite some time, right? But let's just say I put out there, she's dating A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky, I think he's worth like around 10 million, anywhere close to that B. Right. So then it's like to her, does she have to not date for status, but does someone else's status matter? Or is she at a point where it's like, I got enough money where I can truly just date for love, right? I just wonder how much, if you're a billionaire, like if you're Jeff Bezos, does it matter to you that if you meet a bad chick that work at Waffle House and you just say, now I'm about to go ahead and lock this down? Or, you know what I'm saying, does she also have to have a few million in the bank?
No, I think it depends on the mindset. Like when you mentioned the Jeff Bezos, right? Bezos, if you're going to be with him 9 times out of 10, you're just going to be taken care of. I'm talking about marriage status. I ain't talking about girlfriend. Girlfriend, I think but for Rihanna, it's one of those things like, you got to have your own money, and it doesn't have to be billions though. Like the thing is that you just need to be able to support yourself. And at the end of the day, we all know if she was talking marriage anyway, it's going to be a prenup involved. So the thing is that as long as you're able to sustain yourself, there's nothing that's all that you need.
Ace, what if you was dating? What if Damien? You single guy, Damien? Boy, let me ask you this, D. You're dating Rihanna. What if dating Rihanna? What if the things that she does regularly is outside of what your pockets say you could do? You might be able to go to Destin, right? But she might just go and say, let's go to Bora Bora, and I'm locking down the whole island, right? That's regular.
Okay, I have 4 words for you. Stay at home dad. I ain't doing nothing. If she want to go to Bora Bora, I'm carrying the bags, all right? Now I'm gonna be a man, flat out. But how you gonna compete with her money if you ain't got the money? And the thing is, she's gonna know. So if she makes the
That's
choice
why.
to
Oh
accept
my
me,
God, I don't see. D, this is the thing about it. I know that those things are Googleable, right? But
yeah,
I'm just kind of like it's a little different from you dating some chick, and let's say you're a multi-thousandaire, right? You know what I'm saying? But then it's like if it's that much of a discrepancy, right? Like I don't know. What does how I guess you got to get used to if you ASAP, if you work 10 mil and she's a billionaire, she's gonna out big boy you every time. So it's like, do you just like suck that on up?
Charlie,
Like,
Charlie, that stuff doesn't bother me. Like if Sarah was
at
pulling
all.
in more money than me right now, wouldn't bother me at all.
I don't know,
I
man.
think
I
you got to
mean,
be pretty, dude. No matter what trash anybody tried to talk, if I'm dating Rihanna, I'm doper than you. So you
Right.
really can't say anything, nor would it bother me. I think you got to be a pretty insecure dude to be worried about what her bread is going into it. If I copped her, if I was good enough to get it in the first place, that I won. You know what I mean? I won.
100%.
So I ain't
100%.
worried
And that
about my ego don't come into play with things like that. I think it's sexy as hell if a woman is actually confident, but I mean confident. I don't mean I'm independent and then going behind the scenes doing crazy stuff,
I hate
going through
that.
the phone and all that. I mean a real strong, independent woman. I can give 100% to that.
Listen, man, I think that if I'm ASAP and I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I'd be shooting up the club the first chance I get.
You stupid.
Shoot the club
Bang,
up,
bang.
bro. Every time it would be a requirement though, bro. Like it was this. I'm shooting the club up. I'm trying to go ahead and have a kid with an ASAP, bro. Like at whatever the cost. That's 18 I can deal with.
Hey, Ahmad, I'm stepping like a mofo, bro. We ain't got to have no kids. I ain't even got to live in the same house as you. Go and put me out in that five
Oh,
bedroom with the beach house in Malibu, man. I'll wait for you when you get out there. Do you
and
think?
send me my allowance.
Right. Exactly. Charlie,
Ain't gonna
yeah.
here's
bother
a
me at
reference
all,
for you.
bro.
Here's a reference for both of you. Hey, yeah, it's daddy. Put mommy on. Yeah. I ain't never coming home no
I ain't
more.
never
That's
coming
it.
home no more. I am
Come
just
on,
like
man.
I am just listen, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, but to answer to answer my question is that to me personally, though, I do like the Rihanna with more weight on her. She looks more feminine to me. To me, she's better. She's better on my eyes than because when she was smaller. And so this is my thing. I feel like low key creepy ish when it comes to girls that are under 25 anyway, looking at them that way. And so
Right,
she was
right, right.
really skinny at under that age, though. But once she started to put on, she looked more grown woman to me. And then I felt like, okay, that to me is I
I can
like
see
this
that.
Rihanna way better than the young. I thought that, I thought she was dope. But I think that the older I get, the that 25, the more I have to like stand on that 25-ish is where I start to say, all right, somebody's sexy now that they're 25. But if you're 21, you know what I'm saying, 22, like it's just, yeah, you might be beautiful, but it's hard for me to look at you the same way like I would if
I
you're
got you.
25.
I
And
got you.
here's a funny thing. Rihanna don't even really do it for me, and I'm not hating. I think she's beautiful, but she's just not my type.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. She's just not your type. I hate when people
Right.
try to make it seem like you're hating or some crazy. She's not your type.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like I said, I think she's beautiful. I think anybody that thinks she's dope, nothing wrong with that at all. It's just she just doesn't do it for me.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. There's nothing that anybody would be able to tell me if I was dating her, but let alone if she was my baby mom's, bro. There was nothing that nobody would be able to say to me, and ever, like nobody. Regardless of how much money, how much more pop. If I was just a low key guy, if I lived hell somewhere in damn Blue Ridge Mountains to myself in some cabin, bro. Either way, you wouldn't be able to tell me nothing. So I don't know, but I do find it interesting though, man, that the billionaire. I do think for some reason, like I like this to sound wow, I like Rihanna as a billionaire. It feels different than looking at like the Jenners as billionaires, like Kylie Jenner as a billion. Like Rihanna looks like the kind of billionaire that I'm like, all right, yeah.
Don't make it that kind of thing, man.
I can't
Why
help
people
it.
hate on them girls so much?
I can't help it. I I don't hate on them, but I look at the reason why I look at it that way is that it felt like I'm gonna save that for another day. I'm gonna save that conversation.
All right.
Hey, listen.
All right.
What the weekend? What y'all got planned, bro?
At some
Nothing.
point this weekend, I'm going to watch Suicide Squad.
It's out this weekend?
Yes, sir. Out today.
It came out today.
Oh, what the heck? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check that out. Other than that, man, got church this weekend, and that's about it. We postponed the video. We were supposed to shoot the video tomorrow, but we postponed it to September because she's getting ready for her award ceremony that's coming up at the end of this month. And she added me to the list to perform. So yeah, we postponed it to September.
How does it look? What are the chances of you winning there? Because I didn't know I might have to slide out there, bro. If you winning,
I mean, that part I don't know because I don't do the Oklahoma music politics out here, bro. You know what I'm saying? I perform when I perform. I'm not trying to be at every show. I don't I just so I really don't know the answer to that question. I don't do the Oklahoma music politics because people out here fighting for to be the king of Oklahoma, and I'm trying to be international. Well, I am international, but you know what I'm saying. Like I'm not fighting for that title.
Yeah.
Woo! I like that. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to use that one.
What's popping you for the weekend?
My baby boy's turning 16. You know him since he was a little boy from Africa. He couldn't even walk when you met him.
From the motherland.
Ahmad,
man.
if you were to take a child, crazy. Right? If you were to take a kid and just and want the perfect kid, yo, he's the perfect kid, man. He's laid back. He don't get stressed out. He does great in school. Got a great personality. He's clean. He's funny. And he's just thoughtful and kind. If you just sit back and watch him, man, you can't do anything but adore this dude, man. He's just a good kid, man. I got lucky with him. And then CB, that's Sunday. Tomorrow, I don't have much going on tomorrow. I'm just gonna I got one car to work on. Sold 2 cars this week, so it was a good week, my first 2, so I'm excited about the future of Capped Auto. But other than that, man, we need to go get some wings or something if you ain't doing anything. But
hey, what's funny, man? I was thinking about that. I was gonna send y'all a text, you and B, to be like, yo, we need to catch up and throw some wings back, man. So yeah, let's make that happen though, man.
And D, I need to holler at you about that car stuff too, bro.
Whatever you need. You got the number still, right?
Absolutely.
Whatever you need. Whenever you got time, I'll make it for you, of course.
Hey, so listen, we're going to try to we didn't get a chance to get you on the last time we did it, but we looking to pick back up on another series for the small businesses, and you got to come through and talk about that, though, man. Get you on the holler at everybody about that, though, man.
Yeah. Ahmad, are you considering doing it?
No. I'm looking at trying to get a car for my son. So that's what I'm saying. I need to figure some things
Whatever
out.
Whatever you need. Look, hit me up later, and what I'll do is I'll make it real easy for you. I'll send you my username and password, and you can go up and it'll give you the wholesale prices right then and there. You can and look, right. It's really easy to use. It's very comprehensive. You can look up in your city because there's an auction in your city.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk.
Right.
We'll talk.
Whatever you need, let me know.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, as far as me, Ace, I think that I am looking around to figure out where I can shoot my scene here for this video, though, man. And listen, outside of that, whatever I am going to be doing this weekend, it will include listening to my brother, my Saz brother, Rocky the Real, who album came out Highly favored. I've been listening to it nonstop for the last week, though, man. Still proud of that dude, though, man. So absolutely, man, it's been dope. So whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna be blasting my bro stuff, and we good. And my last thing I'll get on out of here is that I'm actually trying to get some new music over to my girl Brittany Rose. So doing a lot of things, though, man, making it happen. Hey, man,
Hey,
listen,
look, y'all be good, man.
Note,
I'm gonna go get mine.
Yeah, on that note, y'all be easy. I'll be hollering at y'all. Listen, Brittany Rowe, Mark Nurse, appreciate y'all. My boy Courtney, I saw him in the comment. I appreciate y'all for checking in on your folks. And listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook page. We out of here, man. Peace.